Okay, and hi everybody, it's another video. We're going to go for a longer video again because we had a little bit of success with the last video. People asking a lot of questions and hopefully learning from some of the methodologies and ideas that we're putting into action. Now, again, if you want a copy of this Google Doc, just reach out to me. I think 5 people asked for the previous one, and you can study it at your own pace and start implementing changes. And if you implement any of the stuff that I kind of teach or recommend, then feel free to share it with us and come back to us and say, look, well, I tried this, but at this point it was maybe a sticking point, or what do I do next if XYZ happens? So feel free to reach out to us, because the more information that we get, the more feedback that we get, the more we can improve the ideas and the kind of methods and the frameworks that we're actually using at the moment. So today we're going to speak about emotional intelligence, and most of you that do know me know that I am a big believer in EI and how critical it is to your ability to lead teams and be successful in implementing your vision into a company, into an organization. Now, emotional intelligence is a critical part of health and safety management for employees, because it involves the ability to understand and manage and respond to emotions both in oneself and others. Now, the kind of key areas that we'll look at first with emotional intelligence before we kind of lead into productivity, it builds a stronger communication between you and your employees. Excuse me. And also it improves stress management. It enhances employee engagement and motivation. It can help with conflict resolution and crisis management. It helps with cultivating a positive safety culture, and it helps with mental health awareness. Now, emotional intelligence is crucial in fostering a safe, healthy workplace, because it helps leaders and employees navigate emotional complexities, reduce stress and improve communication. Now, a workplace that values emotional intelligence is more likely to develop a safety culture where employees feel emotionally supported, physically protected, and more engaged in maintaining their own well-being and that of others. So that's a kind of overview on emotional intelligence and the part it plays in management. Now, when we actually look a little bit deeper into how emotional intelligence helps in managing health and safety and how it's closely tied to productivity, it shows that having this can create a safe and supportive workplace, and it tends to lead to a more engaged, focused, and more motivated employee. And here's how the connection works. So when we look at reducing stress and anxiety, it improves focus. When employees feel safe and emotionally supported, they experience less stress and anxiety, which reduces distractions. So if you're less distracted, you're more able to focus on the actual job itself. One of the most difficult things about health and safety at the moment is keeping the outside world away from the inside world. What that means is keeping everything out of when they're actually doing the work activity. Now, employees who are not preoccupied with concern about safety or their emotional well-being can focus more effectively on their tasks, which lowers absenteeism. Emotional intelligence fosters a supportive work environment where stress is managed better, reducing instances of burnout, mental health issues, or accidents. As a result, employees take fewer sick days, leading to consistent productivity. So less time off work, less stress on the rest of the employees that are there while you're off, while the individual's off sick, to support the going on of the business. If we look at the next one, number 2, which is increasing the employee engagement, a higher commitment. Employees who work in a workplace with emotionally intelligent leadership feel valued and understood, which increases their engagement. Engaged employees tend to be more productive, showing more enthusiasm and dedication to their roles. So they're committed to the company because they understand that they're safer, they're more looked after, which leads to better morale. A more positive emotional climate leads to higher job satisfaction. Employees who are satisfied with their work environment are generally more productive, take more initiative, and are willing to go above and beyond their basic duties. I was doing a case study just recently on Monzo Bank. I'm sure you've heard it. It's a really great bank. It's technology led, and it's really clever the way that they handle emotional intelligence and how they manage employees. An example being that they offer a sabbatical after so many years. So I think it's maybe 4 or 5 years that they offer a sabbatical. And in that time, you get something like 3 months or 4 months off. And in that 4 months, you can go and learn something or just take a break from work. You know, if you look at the statistics, employees tend to get fed up after 2-3 years or 4 years. So giving them that break, giving them that chance to recharge, maybe plan a holiday, you know, save for a holiday, maybe do a travel experience. People love to travel now. You know, we live in a global world where, you know, traveling is easy. So let's say you are an employee and you know that you're going to have a sabbatical in 4 years, and you're going to have 4 months off, and you're going to save for it for 4 years, and then you're going to recharge your batteries and live a great experience. You know, that's understanding that person's emotions, the higher commitment in the workplace. So it's just a bit of an idea on how these things connect. They're all connected to productivity and, you know, focus and engagement. It's all linked. When we go down a deeper part of the health and safety, if we look at number 3, it's fewer accidents and interruptions. Now, prevention of work disruptions. Emotionally intelligent leaders who prioritise health and safety create environments with fewer accidents and near misses. Safety incidents can lead to significant disruptions, such as downtime or investigations. Fewer accidents means smoother operations, which directly impacts productivity. So, being less disrupted at work gives you the chance to focus and limits downtime, limits the fact that, you know, time for investigations, time for incident investigations, and it's, you can improve. You know, I'm big on talking about agility of the business. When we link the two together, a business can become more agile because it's smoother. Its operations are, you know, cleaner, and people understand the job better because they're higher trained, more competent, and then it leads on to the next point, is that it reduces the amount of errors. So if you're constantly training staff, if you're constantly upskilling them, keeping them engaged, and mentally not draining them, there's more of an emotional balance, which leads to the less likelihood of making mistakes that can cause accidents. So when employees are mentally focused, they're less likely to make mistakes. Just going to put this in charge here because it's coming down. So it minimizes accidents, rework, or delays. Emotional intelligence allows managers to recognize when employees are stressed or distracted and intervene early to prevent errors. Now, let's take an example. Like if someone comes in, health and safety wise, and says, "Look, my wife's sick or my partner's sick or something's happened," and you're putting them into a high risk work activity, the manager should be emotionally intelligent enough to recognize that this person could be a risk. They could be a risk to themselves, they could be a risk to the organization. How you would manage that, there could be multiple ways that you could manage that. You could say to them, "Look, let's have a break, let's have a chat, let's go for a walk, let's do something." But overall, the ability to recognize that someone is stressed. And that's when we go back to the meaning of emotional intelligence, and when they talk about both in oneself and in others. So you're recognizing in yourself, I need to stop what I'm doing and focus on this individual. They've just come in, they've told me something's happened. I need to focus on them for a couple of minutes, make sure they're all right, make sure that they're not doing something they shouldn't be doing, and then move on to the rest of my day. And that emotional intelligence is something that can be trained on. You can train yourself to become more aware of what's going on with your employees, more understanding of your employees, and still have the ability to lead effectively. There's not this, especially with health and safety, it shouldn't be the case that keep going, the work doesn't stop, the work doesn't stop, the work doesn't stop, because that could actually result in slowing the process down so much more. Delays, we talk about delays, rework, accidents. And we're looking as managers, as leaders, to have these early interventions and prevent these errors. So as we move on to number 4, it's enhanced team collaboration. So better communication. Emotional intelligence encourages open communication and mutual understanding within teams. When employees feel emotionally safe to express their concerns and ideas, collaboration improves. This leads to more efficient workflows and problem solving, which in turn enhances productivity. Now, I'm not sure if any of you guys have read Daniel Pink's book when he talks about intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. He's basically saying that employees should be intrinsically motivated to keep themselves safe. Now, if you create that work environment where they feel safe and they feel that people around them recognize when there's maybe struggling or there's difficulties or how to make the process better, then they're more open to sharing their ideas on how to improve the business or improve the way things are done. And autonomy. So in Daniel book, I can't remember the name of the book, but I'll post a link on it when I find it. But in the book, Daniel mentions that autonomy creates the intrinsic motivation. So you have to be able to create an environment where they feel that they can say something safely without being dismissed or shot down. You have to create that idea. So stronger team cohesion. Teams that operate in environments where emotional intelligence is practiced tend to trust each other more and work together effectively. This cohesion means that projects are completed more efficiently, as there is less interpersonal conflict and more focus on achieving common goals. So they work together as a team. So if they all recognize each other, employees, I'm a big believer that employees should be all being trained in emotional intelligence, so they recognize when their employee, their fellow co-workers are maybe stressed or going through the moments, what kind of mood they're in, what kind of person they're in, how to manage that. They can get the work done so much more effectively, so much more productively. So number 5 is proactive safety behavior, more efficient work. So when we talk about time saved by preventative measures, employees in an emotionally intelligent workplace are more likely to engage in proactive safety behaviours, such as identifying potential hazards and reporting them early. This prevention approach saves time and resources by avoiding larger issues down the line, keeping operations running smoothly and productively. So again, exactly what we're saying, earlier, autonomy. Giving the employees autonomy, giving them that safe space where they can actually be themselves, feel that they can share ideas, share experiences, share visions for the way that work should be done. It can massively improve the business, massively improve productivity. And a personal responsibility, again, intrinsically motivated, they are more their emotional intelligence helps employees take ownership of their own well-being and safety of their colleagues. This results in heightened sense of responsibility, reducing carelessness, and improving work quality. So again, recognizing that I'm part of a team, and my colleagues are relying on me, and I have to tell them what's going on with me. I have to be honest with myself and support them and work together to reduce any accidents, or just prevent accidents and reduce carelessness. Mental and emotional resilience. Higher resilience equals sustained productivity. I'm going to repeat that because it's probably one of the most important parts. A higher resilience equals sustained productivity. Now, emotional intelligence fosters resilience, helping employees bounce back from challenges or setbacks more quickly. Resilient employees are able to maintain productivity even in the face of difficulties such as changes in workload, tight deadlines, or workplace stress. When we're collecting data and we actually understand what's difficult about the process and what our feedback is from the employees, we can then say, this is where we made the mistakes last time, this is where we won't make the same mistakes again, this is what we need to work on, this is how we need to train in order to minimize the pressure that we faced when it was tight deadlines. Create more resilient employees so that they're so, for example, overtrain them in terms of simulate environments where it's actually more stressful doing the training than it is actually doing the work activity. That way then they're prepared. If, for example, we're doing a merger or an acquisition and we're taking on another company and we have to bring some certain stuff in-house while we're maybe building a new facility or changing things over, then deadlines and the workplace stress is going to be higher. So we try and create that environment. Now, I'm hopefully going to do something shortly on augmented reality, which we're working really closely on at the moment with the university. And what we're hoping to do is create and simulate those environments through augmented reality and put the pressure on them. So what we don't actually have to do is we don't have to actually set up the workplace so that it is ready for higher workloads. It'll actually be on a virtual platform. More than that to come. It's part of our peak performance management course, which is the leading management course at the moment in terms of simulating environments, real-time environments and role plays. And so hopefully a little bit more than that to come. So when we talk about emotional stability It reduces workplace conflicts. So by addressing emotional needs and resolving conflicts early, emotionally intelligent leaders prevent disputes that could otherwise disrupt work. Less time spent managing conflicts means more time spent on productive activities. Now, with that there, again, with our peak performance management course, we have the conflict resolution mediation training module, and the feedback on the module is that it really puts them under stress and pressure to kind of recognize and pull back on themselves. So yeah, really understanding emotional intelligence helps minimize the disputes. So it kind of keeps productivity high. If you've got two employees that are unhappy with each other and you can see both, one person is, emotional this way and one person emotional that way, then and you can identify how you can solve it, then it keeps productivity at its optimum level. So number 7, improve problem solving and innovation. Creativity and innovation. A workplace where emotional intelligence is practiced often encourage employees to share ideas and propose solutions without fear or judgment. Again, what we're talking about, this fosters creativity and innovation, leading to more efficient methods, processes, and products that enhance overall productivity. So many times I've been in an organisation, and you're sitting, or I'm doing an audit, and I'm saying, look, to the workforce, this is why do you do it this way? Or we're told to do it this way. And then but they say there's an easier way to do stuff. Okay, what's a better way to do stuff? Why have you not told that? Oh, the boss doesn't listen. So you've got to, with emotional intelligence, you've got to have that free space to think, how can my employees or our employees contribute to innovation? They're doing the job day in, day out. Give them the platform. Give them the opportunity to express themselves and help make changes. So faster decision making. Leaders who manage emotions well can make more clear-headed, balanced decisions. In turn, this helps avoid delays and keeps productivity on track, especially in a fast-paced environment. Again, what we're talking about, if they recognize that what's going on in the business, how certain people like to be managed, how certain people like to be looked after, they can make adjustments and make changes. Think cautiously. They can't simply, when you're in a work environment, everybody has different personalities. Everybody likes to be managed specific ways. As a manager, it's extremely difficult. But having that emotional intelligence to understand how someone likes to be managed and how to speak to them or push them on. Some of my team, they like to have an arm around them, and they like to be praised for their work, and they like their work to be celebrated, whereas others, they like to be pushed on, they like to be constantly pushed, because they feel that if they're pushed by someone else, they can't push themselves the same way. So it's having that there. And maybe if they're feeling down, how do you manage it? How do you pick them back up again? What works for them, what doesn't work? So all of these things are heavily linked to emotional intelligence. Now, number 8, the last one there, but on the sheet, but certainly not. There could be other ones there as well if you want to leave some comments, and we can look at those as well. Work-life balance and employee retention. Employee retention is extremely difficult just now. If you are a business and you are training your staff, and then they get fed up with the leadership, and then within a few months, a year down the line, they're gone, then you're back to square one. You have to be able to retain employees, understand your employees. Sustainable productivity is linked to emotional intelligence. Emotionally intelligent leaders promote a healthy work-life balance. Again, let's look at Monzo Bank. Ensuring employees do not feel overworked or exhausted. Sustainable productivity comes from employees who have the energy and the emotional capacity to perform consistently over time. Sometimes in the work environment, your top players, they can't work at that optimum level all the time. And you have to recognize that, as we climb, if you're talking about senior leadership, they might get 2-3 days really high level work, and then 2 days they need to kind of go down again. And then, the following week it's the same. Whereas you might get employees that are operate at 60% all the time, but they can do it consistently over the week. So, you have to understand your employees. And when you're at that top level, you're recruiting these top level execs to make a difference. And sometimes their ideas and their visions can be so draining to them mentally that as a leader, as a manager, you have to recognize maybe they needed some time off, or they maybe need to recharge their batteries, work on something else, or not attend certain meetings, to give them brain fog. There's so many different things. You have to be able to understand the workforce. Lower turnover rates, higher emotional intelligence, and management creates a work environment where employees want to stay. Reducing turnover to minimize, reducing turnover minimizes the time and resources spent on hiring and training, keeping experienced and productive employees in place. So again, management creating that work environment where people want to stay, they want to do their best, they want to grow with the company and feel valued. Really important to feel valued. Life's even more challenging than it's ever been, and to feel valued in your workplace means a lot more than maybe what it used to mean. So it's really important. Now, just to close off, I've held you going now for quite some time. Maybe some of you have made it to the end, maybe you've not, but if you've made it here, emotional intelligence contributes to productivity by creating a healthier, safer, and more supportive workplace. When employees are less stressed, feel emotionally supported, and experience fewer disruptions, they are more engaged and focused. This not only boosts individual productivity, but also enhances team collaboration, reduces downtime, and fosters a culture of efficiency and innovation. Now, the result is a workplace where safety and emotional well-being directly feed into sustained productivity and organizational success. Building an organizational learning ecosystem is at the heart of everything that we do. The more you know about your business, the quicker it can respond, the more competitive it can be, the better trained your staff are. Understanding data, understanding the new concepts that are out there is really important now, especially to have that competitive advantage. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Keep an eye out for some more. Hopefully we'll look into the AR, and give us a thumbs up or a like if you thought this added any value to you. Thanks. We'll see you in the next one.